In the quiet shadows of a seemingly perfect suburban life in Ipswich, Queensland, a mystery begins to unfold that would captivate and horrify a nation. At the heart of this enigma was Allison Baden-Clay, a woman whose life seemed as picturesque as the leafy streets of her neighborhood. A former beauty queen crowned Miss Brisbane, Allison was not just a pretty face. She was a cherished figure in her community, a beacon of kindness and achievement. Allison's life, however, took a mysterious turn on one fateful evening in April 2012. She vanished from her own home, a place where she had built a life with her husband and 3 children. The house, usually filled with the laughter of their children and the usual family chaos, fell eerily silent. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the community, stirring fears and speculations among neighbors and friends who knew her as vibrant and full of life. The news of her missing status spread quickly, and soon a large-scale police investigation was underway. Officers combed the area, while volunteers and locals, united by a sense of urgency and concern, joined the search. It became clear that this was no ordinary case. It was one that held the rapt attention of not just the local community, but also people across the country. As the sun rose over Ipswich, the search for Allison began. But what lay ahead was a story darker than anyone could have anticipated. Behind her radiant smile and community accolades, Allison Baden-Clay carried the weight of a troubled marriage. To anyone looking from the outside, Allison was a paragon of success and grace. A crowned Miss Brisbane, she was not just a beauty queen, but a woman of substance. Fluent in 6 languages and an accomplished ballet dancer. Her life seemed like a fairy tale, adorned with the sparkle of community admiration and respect. However, beneath this polished surface, Allison's personal life told a different story. Married to Jarrod Baden-Clay, a real estate agent with ambitions as towering as the skyscrapers of Brisbane, their union was marked by unseen fractures. While Allison devoted herself to raising their 3 children and engaging in community service, Jarrod's eyes wandered, and his heart strayed. The cracks widened with the pressure of financial woes. Jarrod's real estate business was floundering, the economic downturn gnawing away at what appeared to be a prosperous life. These monetary struggles added layers of tension and bitterness within their home, a stark contrast to the picture-perfect image they presented at social gatherings. Complicating matters further was Jarrod's extramarital affair with a colleague, Tony McHugh. This betrayal was not just a blow to their marriage, but a sledgehammer to Allison's trust and self-esteem. Despite her achievements and community standing, she grappled with the private agony of her husband's infidelity, a pain masked by her public persona. Allison's friends and family recall her attempts to glue the fragments of her marriage back together, attending counseling sessions and trying to steer her family through the tempest. Yet, the strain of financial instability coupled with emotional betrayal was eroding the foundation of their life together. To the outside world, they were a perfect family, but behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. The facade of normalcy that Allison and Jarrod maintained was just that, a facade masking the turmoil that lay beneath, setting the stage for a tragic unraveling. April 19, 2012, a night that would change the Baden-Clay family forever. As the sun set over the quiet streets of Ipswich, Allison Baden-Clay was seen for the last time. Her husband, Jarrod, later recounted that they had spent the evening at home, a seemingly ordinary night until Allison vanished into thin air. The community, unaware, slept as a family's foundation silently crumbled. The following morning, Jarrod Baden-Clay emerged, a figure of frantic concern. He claimed to have woken up to an empty house with Allison nowhere to be found. His first call was not to the police, but to his lover, Tony McHugh, alerting her that Allison was missing before notifying law enforcement, a detail that would later ripple through the investigation with significant implications. As the police arrived, their initial interaction with Jarrod painted a picture of a distressed husband. However, their skepticism grew as Jarrod's account of the previous night began to show cracks. His timeline was inconsistent, his details blurry. Why, officers wondered, did his concerns seem measured, his actions calculated? The physical evidence, too, began to tell its own stark story. Unexplained scratches on Jarrod's face and body, which he awkwardly explained away as shaving cuts, seemed suspiciously defensive. Blood found on Allison's belongings added layers to the mystery, layers that hinted at a narrative far darker than a simple disappearance. As the last person to see Allison alive, Jarrod's facade began to crack under police scrutiny. What began as a missing person case soon morphed into a chilling investigation of deceit. As detectives peeled back the layers of Allison Baden-Clay's disappearance, they uncovered startling evidence that would pivot the case towards her husband, Jarrod. The first major clue? Distinct scratches on Jarrod's face, which he initially dismissed as shaving cuts. However, forensic analysis suggested a far more sinister story. These were likely defensive wounds, inflicted during a desperate struggle. Further inquiry led to the discovery of Allison's blood in the family car. This grim find was not consistent with Jarrod's account of the last night he saw his wife, which raised serious questions about his involvement in her disappearance. The presence of her blood, coupled with the scratches, began to sketch a troubling picture of what might have occurred that fateful night. Forensic experts played a crucial role, enhancing the narrative the physical evidence told. They meticulously analyzed the blood patterns and DNA under Allison's fingernails, alongside other forensic data, which collectively pointed towards a violent altercation. This scientific testimony was pivotal, transforming the investigation into a robust case against Jarrod. As the evidence mounted, so did public interest. The media descended upon the quiet suburbs of Ipswich, broadcasting every development and turning the case into a national spectacle. This not only amplified the pressure on law enforcement, but also galvanized a community in search of answers. The public's outcry for justice became a powerful force, echoing through the corridors of the courtroom as the trial unfolded. Each piece of evidence was a grim puzzle piece in a picture of betrayal. The scratches, the blood, and the lies told a story of a facade that crumbled under scrutiny, revealing the dark truth of a seemingly perfect life. As the community of Ipswich watched, the case against Jarrod Baden-Clay grew, turning a missing person investigation into a haunting narrative of murder and deceit. Cornered by evidence and overwhelmed by public scrutiny, Jarrod Baden-Clay's world began to collapse. The courtroom became a battleground where the details of his troubled marriage and illicit affairs came under a harsh spotlight. As the trial unfolded, key testimonies from forensic experts and character witnesses painted a grim picture of a man driven by desperation and deceit. Jarrod's defense hinged on maintaining his innocence, arguing that Allison's death was a tragic accident. However, the prosecution tore through his arguments with compelling evidence. Scratches on Jarrod's face, which he initially claimed were from shaving, were argued by forensic experts to be defensive wounds from Allison, fighting for her life. The presence of her blood in their car further implicated him in her demise. The initial verdict of murder was met with a collective sigh of relief from the public, who had been closely following the case. However, this was short-lived, as an appeal saw his conviction downgraded to manslaughter. This decision sparked a fierce public outcry, with many feeling that justice had been compromised. The case took its final turn when the High Court of Australia stepped in, reinstating the murder conviction. This decision underscored the severity of Jarrod's actions and the evidence supporting his guilt. It was a profound moment of vindication for those who had fought tirelessly for Allison's memory. Justice may be delayed, but not denied. A principle that rang true in the heart-wrenching case of Allison Baden-Clay. Allison Baden-Clay's story is more than a headline. It's a stark reminder of the hidden depths of human relations. In the wake of this harrowing event, the community of Ipswich found itself grappling with a reality far removed from their peaceful daily life. Local forums, town meetings, and even casual conversations at the corner store were dominated by discussions on the implications of Allison's tragic end. This case served as a painful wake-up call, highlighting the urgent need for greater awareness and stronger preventive measures against domestic violence. The memory of Allison herself has not dimmed. Known for her grace and intelligence, Allison's life is commemorated through annual memorials and charity events aimed at supporting victims of domestic abuse. Her radiant spirit, immortalized through these acts of kindness, continues to inspire those who knew her, and even those who only know her story through the whispers of the media. Yet, beyond the personal loss and the immediate shock, the broader message of justice resonates deeply. Allison's story reinforces the vigilance required in our society to guard against the unseen terrors that may lurk behind closed doors. It stresses the importance of a legal system that relentlessly pursues truth and ensures that justice, though sometimes delayed, is ultimately delivered. In the serene streets of Ipswich, echoes of Allison's legacy remind us that behind every tragedy, there is a story of life, love, and loss.